Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Continental podcast. The podcast is sponsored by PortPro, the leading operating system for drayage carriers. Schedule a demo today at portpro.io, and don't forget to mention Continental for 10% off. In the studio today, we got Gio Marz. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
What's up?
So, what's up? Thanks for coming on a Sunday, early in the morning. Tell our listeners a little more about yourself.
Well, thank you, Luis, for inviting me. I know it's
Minute.
been a minute. Yeah. Let's get that out the way, right? But no, thanks for having me. And I don't know. What do you want to know about myself? So Gio Marz, man, making me think.
Where'd you grow up?
Born and raised in Wilmington, brother. So I guess we'll start there, right? I was born and raised in the city of Wilmington, 90744. I went to the elementary schools in Wilmington, Wilmington Middle School, and proudly to say, or however you say that, very proud to say that I'm actually a Banning High School dropout. So yeah, I mean, Gio Marz hasn't been the Gio Marz that everybody knows. I'm a little bit more serious, held down now. But a few of you that might know me from high school might say, like, man, look at this. Like, this guy actually, straightened himself out during life, because I was a complete idiot and dumbass in high school. I guess, but you live and learn. So that's a little bit about myself. I've always liked sports. It's just, I guess, when you start hanging around with the wrong people at a certain age, you don't make the very best decisions in life. But luckily, I was able to catch myself. Like I said, high school dropout, but ended up going to continuation school maybe 2 years later after high school. So I'm a Long Beach School for Adults high school graduate.
GED approved.
GED approved, baby. And
If you don't mind me asking, why'd you get kicked out of high school?
it got to the point where I think it was early on my senior year where the counselor, she will remain nameless, but she's just like, hey, there's no point in you coming to high school no more. Like, no matter what you do from here to the end of the year,
Won't catch up.
you won't catch up. So here's this, like, I think it was a yellow slip.
Oh, like that? So
So
she
they-
made that decision for you?
Yeah.
She or he? She?
Yeah. He.
Hee.
Pretty much gave me the slip, and she was like, here, get your ass out of here. And at that time, it was like the golden ticket for me, because it was like, oh yeah, no, I don't gotta come back to this BS, right? But I don't know if that was a little loud, but I guess I knew that school wasn't for me at a very early age, if that makes sense. I've always liked money, hustling, making money. I knew that at an early age, that I just like business. I was always intrigued in business and entrepreneurship, if you can say. So that's a little bit about not a little bit, that's just my educational background, I guess you could say. I do got some college after that. I did try college, even though I kind of knew school wasn't for me. I gave college a try. But on the other side, like a little bit more personal, the Gio Marz, I actually grew up, like a lot of us in Wilmington, like poor ass shit, I guess you could say. I grew up, I remember being a kid, growing up, like 4 or 5, 6 years old, where, kind of live with all your uncles and your aunts in one apartment. You can't play around. You can't be loud because someone's always sleeping, because someone always has to go to work. So that's kind of, I grew up in a pretty humble environment, no toys. I not even like Happy Meals, bro. There's a Lunchable story that I got out there on my Gio Marz TV where I remember going to field trips and just like wanting a Lunchable, and every other kid had a Lunchable and I didn't. And I grew
Those
up.
were the shit, huh?
Yeah, like, well, I wouldn't know because,
Yeah.
I missed out on that. So
No, I mean the hype was
the
like,
hype, yeah, the Lunchables. So, I just remember like always wanting things and not being able, like, just didn't have the privilege of having them. So I have that in my memory. And now that I have my own family and kids, I like, long story short, but when my daughter went to her first field trip, I made damn sure she had a Lunchable. And, so I just grew up in a very, very, very humble, not to use the word poor, but, straight out poverty home and background. So that's a little bit like personal. My childhood growing up was very, very humble beginnings. I still try to remain humble, not to say, that I've changed, but yeah.
What's your favorite snack from the poverty days that still tastes good this day?
Ooh, like a tostada with crema and tapatio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to like that, like just like to grab the
Yeah. Or una tortilla con mayonesa and sal.
sal, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember having remember the tampicos?
Yeah. Yeah.
You had to dilute it with water because it was too concentrated. Yeah.
I like the pink one.
Yeah, the pink one was good.
Yeah. I added Tampico to Frosted Flakes. Well, the generic ones.
Really?
Or were they?
I never tried that.
We didn't have milk at the time, so I was lit. That's a lot of sugar, bro.
Yeah, munchies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a little bit like, just my childhood it was fun, not to say, like I think you and and maybe people of our age, we got to live the best of both worlds, where we actually played outside and,
oh yeah,
it's like we got in trouble for staying out late, obviously.
Yeah.
So
we were given a time to be back by then, but it, rarely occurred that way. But
it's like my mama had boundaries, right? Like you can't go past this block, and it was always that. Okay. Ooh, like hey mom, like I'm 3 blocks past your boundary. Yeah. What you gonna do? So yeah, it was fun. Like those were the days. That's how I grew up.
And what did you want to be growing up? You remember that?
You know what? I just knew growing up that I did not want to live in an apartment. I did not want to. I know what I didn't want to do. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I never like specifically. I never was like set on a career. Like I would think about like, oh, maybe for a while I kind of wanted to be a firefighter, like a firefighter.
Yeah.
That kind of was intriguing. But I never like chose a career, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of let life unfold on its own.
It was good enough to know what you don't want, so.
Yeah. So. Sorry.
What's your first job? Do you remember?
Yes. My first job was my first official job. When they ask for your
the social and all that
the
stuff?
Social, yeah. And I had to get my high school. What is it for extra credits?
Okay.
Que todos valió madre porque I didn't graduate, but it was Taco Bell.
Huh.
Yeah, I was a cashier at Taco Bell, and I did that for about a year-ish, and I really learned during that year that, man, people are shitty.
I bet.
Yeah.
I worked at Carl's Jr. and McDonald's before, and it's something about those people. They feel they could talk to you a certain way because you're behind that register for some reason. Yep. No matter how nice you are. At least that's what was my experience. Like, what the fuck did I do to you? Like. Yeah.
I remember. I remember there was this lady that it was like, I don't know. It was those days where like 99-cent taco or something like that, 89-cent taco, and she would come in and she would demand like I want the cheese on the very bottom. I want the meat on top. I guess she wanted her cheese to melt, but she was very super demanding, and she was all weird. Always like every time we got her order wrong, she would come in and she would start throwing shit around and yeah, one of those. So it was yeah, I learned that people. I mean, there's nice people out there, but you know, that's where I could say I learned how to respect people, even though they didn't treat you with respect.
To keep the job or just in general?
Just to kind of keep the job. You know, but I do have an experience. I guess one of the cool experiences that I had at Taco Bell. It was cool now to look back on it, but I had a person on the drive-through, right? So I started at the front, you know, like the front, learning how to use the machine, and then once you earn your stripes, I guess you get tossed in the drive-through line. I don't know if it was like that. What you said, Carl's Jr.?
I never did drive-through.
Okay.
I guess I was too stupid for that. Because I do see they got a multitask. They're talking to someone.
Yeah,
here
so you had like there,
2
or 3 screens, right?
Yeah,
and you're like, like you're doing that person in the I guess at the speaker you're doing there, and then you're charging.
Yeah.
So you're doing you're doing a lot. So I kind of earned my stripes, right?
Yeah,
so
Louis, you're stupid. I got nominated to drive-through.
You got tossed to clean the restroom. Okay, nothing wrong with that.
I was short on the register most of the time.
So I guess my cool story about Taco Bell, now that I can look back, is I was doing drive-through, right, and I was taking care of the customer at the speaker, and then we gotta get through this story, okay? And then okay, and then.
Stop laughing into the mic, bro. You're blowing people's eardrums out.
That's all right. I got mine's blown out, so everybody else can. Feel the pain. So, so I'm taking this order at the drive-through, and I'm so you're multitasking. So you're taking the order of the person, the speaker, and I have this person at the window, and I'm like taking care of them, but I'm not giving them my full undivided attention, right? So I'm like, I don't know, it's like $3 or $4, whatever the meal was, and I'm like, hey, it's this, right? And I'm still there. So I guess the person felt neglected, and so when I turned to get the money, he tosses like all their change. It was like he was paying mostly, I guess, change, like quarters and stuff. So when I toss, he just throws it, throws it straight at me, and I mean, I think there was young buck Gio Marz. I was like 16, 17 years old. I turn around, it hits me in the face, so I got super angry, and whatever landed on the cashier, I just grabbed it and I just threw it back at him.
Oh, world star.
Yeah, right. Luckily there was no video, cell phones like now, but that would have definitely made world star. And I threw it back at him, and so he starts cussing at me, and I cussed back at him. And so I'm like, I quit, like, F this place, I quit, whatever, da-da-da. And so I'm like walking out from the drive-through little room in the back, start taking off my little Taco Bell hat and everything. And at the time, a great person that actually gave me the job, shout out to him. He's actually living in Colombia right now, but I still try to keep in communication with him. He was like, where are you going? I was like, I quit. You're going to fire me anyway, so I just quit, right? Because obviously I threw all this change back at a customer. He's like, what happened? I was like, well, he threw the change at me, so I picked it up and I threw it back at him. And he was pretty cool. He's actually, don't go anywhere, don't go anywhere. He talks to the customer. He's like, hey, we're going to give you your free food, right? Here's whatever your order costs. Gave them money. So we're going to give you your free food. You're not welcome at this Taco Bell. It's like, you can do whatever you want. It's like, you want to call the police, call them, but we have you on video camera that you actually like assaulted our employee first, right? So
that's good.
That kind of stayed there. I got to keep my job for a couple months longer until I did a no call, no show, and never went back.
Yeah. All right. Did you eat there?
At the beginning, I tried not to, and then you cave in.
Mm.
Yeah. So.
What's something interesting we might not know about Taco Bell?
I'm pretty sure you guys know that Taco Bell is like not real food.
Is the meat real meat?
I don't know if it's real meat because it comes like in packets. I don't know if it's changed, but when I used to do it come like in these like plastic packages, like real airtight compressed.
Oh, bags?
Like bags, like air sealed.
Okay.
And then you would have to put it in like I don't know, 350 or 400-degree water. I can't remember what it actually was. You put it in there, and then it just fluffs up. The beans and stuff was like that. So like it just like, and then voila, you got your beans and your meat. And
also, it's like a chemical reaction and shit, like a science project. Like as soon as it touches that water, it's a whole other.
I don't know. It
element.
It just like
it doesn't sound.
It's like dried out. Maybe I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember what's the actual concept. But.
Yeah. All right, moving on from Taco Bell. I don't think I'll be going there for a bit. How did you end up in trucking? We'll fast forward to the trucking life.
Okay, so my dad was a truck driver. Containero, as long as I can remember. I think that's all he did for when he went into the trucking game. And as soon as I turned 18, right, me being like not finding myself in school and college, I think my dad just was like, hey, Gio, it's like if you don't want to be a truck driver, that's fine, but at least go get your CDL. Right? He's like, go get your CDL and have it in your back pocket. If you ever need it, use it. If you don't need it, at least you have it.
I'm sorry, I can't. Yeah. Sorry, I just had a flashback of that little funny moment we had. Sometimes that happens to me. Like if there's something funny, it just keeps coming back. But fuck, that was funny. Anyways, I apologize. Let's try that again. So, yeah, 18 and your dad's like looking now, like, okay, si no la vas a armar en otra cosa, you might as well hop on, the CDL.
Yeah, just hop on it, get it. He didn't force me. He just said, get it. You don't have to use it. If that's not what you want to do in life, at least have it in your back pocket as a tool, right? Like, that's literally what made it. Like that's what he told me.
Yeah.
It's a tool. Have it. It's a resource. If you ever need it, you can fall back on that. He didn't make it like, this is your solution. It was just more like an option. And so, yeah, I went to this is super proud for me to say. I'm actually a Harbor Trucking School alumni.
Me too, bro.
Oh, wow.
December 2006.
I think I was 2008. So
yeah.
I actually got my CDL before my, what is it? Your GED or high school.
Oh, okay.
Diploma,
okay. You were there when they had the little white truck and, the little trade secret?
Yeah.
Look back.
The little,
yeah.
It's a marked and then you...
all the when that lines up. How'd they come up with that? That was genius, bro.
That was.
When it lines up.
Line it up to the tree. To the tree. You remember?
Shit.
The tree on Compton?
Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah,
when you're actually actually at the spot, just line it up and then you just... We might not want to say this because I don't want
Allegedly.
Anyway, there was a imaginary tree.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Harbor Trucking School alumni. I think it was 2008. Yeah, I'm pretty sure 2008. So I've been having my CDL for 12, going on 13 years. Yeah.
A lot has happened in between.
Yeah.
That we're gonna get into. Do you mind sharing the journey beyond that? Like once you got that CDL, did you use it right away, or you kind of tried other things? You were in.
Well, yeah, sure. It didn't take long for me to actually use it. When I got it, I was working at Office Depot warehouse down the street from the Long Beach School of Long Beach School High School for Adults.
Okay.
Right there on was Willow.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working there, and I got my license, and it was maybe a few months after I had my license. The problem there was I wasn't 21, so like companies didn't really. One was 21 and the 1 year experience.
Okay.
For the insurance, but actually at that place that I used to work for, there was this super nice lady. She lived in Norwalk somewhere. Her name's Nadine. I hope she's doing okay. I haven't heard of her ever since, but she was like, I have her cousin that worked at a company,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like it was an environmental company, and they drove like Class A, Class B vehicles. She's like, they're hiring, and she's like, you should just go and apply. And yeah, a few months after I had my CDL, I'm gonna go apply for this environmental company. And it was kind of weird because they hired me right away, pretty much no interview, just you have your CDL, yes, fill out the application, and then they called me. I went in, right, and then I had been working there for a while until they're like, hey, you're not even 21 yet. It's like, no. And
you didn't ask?
You didn't ask, right? It was just kind of weird. And they're like, oh, well, you're doing pretty good. So I had already been working there for a good while. I was almost 21.
Took them a while?
Yeah, it took them a while. They're like, hey, our insurance doesn't cover you. So, and when they figured that part out, they were just like, okay, don't get in an accident. Don't, whatever. Just give me the rundown. Do whatever you're doing. Stay safe.
Okay.
But I was getting violated with the pay.
Ah.
Yeah, so it's like.
That's what they get the new guys, huh?
Yeah, I was like.
For experience.
Yeah, for experience. So I knew I was there for the experience. And I think at that time, what was the minimum wage? Like $6.75 or something.
Shit, I don't remember.
But whatever the minimum wage, I was probably making. I think I started making like $8 an hour.
Yeah.
So like I do remember getting paid like $8 an hour. It's just something super like low for a commercial driver.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So.
Hell yeah. Because I started right away with the container hauling, so.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's not about me, so. What's the next job after that? Or what happened there?
I was there until my 21st birthday, and then I went to work at the it was another environmental company, but we had a direct contract with the city of Garden Grove.
Okay.
So I drove like street sweepers, and I was depending on how I felt that day. People were either getting tickets or not getting tickets, because the rule is if the sweeper passes you, then you get a ticket. If he doesn't,
yeah,
you don't. So.
But you were the guy following the sweeper, or
no,
you
I
were
was the one actually driving the street sweeper.
And you would tell the guy ticket him or no, or you had to say in it?
No, like the rule was as soon as I passed.
Yeah.
So if I wouldn't pass the car, like, so if I saw a resident like running out to their car, depending on the mood that I was in, is like
just slow down.
Slow down. Okay, I see him, right? If I was like, not today, I was just like
beat it, punch it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw him running there.
Yeah.
So I saw like a lot of interesting things. Like naked females and naked males, half naked males. Like everybody all the funny things people do not to get a ticket. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Okay.
I did that for another 2 years, and then I went to haul hazmat at the propane company.
The propane company.
Yeah, I thought, I landed my union, like the height, like, oh, I made it to the pedestal, those union jobs at the propane company, and
which is not really called the propane company, right?
Yeah,
just for the purposes of the
and we're just called the union, but the propane company, and and I worked there for, I don't know, my daughter was born there, so
at the propane company.
Yeah.
While you were working there.
During that era, yeah.
Yes.
During that time. So this was probably back in 2013.
Okay.
And Yeah, I think I was there until I must have worked at least 3 years there or something like that. Bad with time frames, but
Did you have union jobs on a pedestal at that point, or you
yeah.
thought you
When I
was it
land,
really as good as people think it is to land, at least in trucking?
okay, so I'm gonna share, and this is why I don't want to name them out because, um, when I landed at the job at the propane company, I was young. You know, my wifey was pregnant, and I had thought I landed the dream job, like you know, just oh yeah, I don't know.
What made you think that?
Just the pay was like if going. I think starting pay at that time for me, I was like 2003. It's like I was 23 years old, and I went from making $8 right at the environmental company, and then I started at like 24, I believe, or $25 an
Oh,
hour.
that is a big jump.
And at that time, so it was like, oh damn, like you know, I'm making money, and then you know, I had all the full on benefits, the Kaiser, and the
Yeah.
you know, and the PTO and the sick days.
Yeah.
But so when I landed the job, I was super excited, and management was chill. Like it was the guy that actually gave me a shot was pretty cool, and then everything was nice for about a year, and then I've experienced the next following 2 year ish that I was there. It was probably the worst time of my life because so they replaced the director of the company, of this propane company, and then comes in a new director for that facility, and I swear to you, like it was like a reversal racism thing that we've experienced till this day. That people are there, they can share their experiences, and like I guess the injustices that they've been through. So
that person is still there.
that person actually moved on up the ladder. So he's like, I don't know, like
Even more power.
more power, like BP of the region or something like that. So he went from like a director of just that district to moving on up through like the ranks.
Yeah.
But pretty much what he did, this is true. He fired every white and Hispanic in management and replaced them with I guess I'll say it like a person of like him, like black. So he was African American person. Nothing against them. But it was weird. Like I felt like it was like the whole, you know, Black Power movement type of thing. Like replace somebody that's not of mine culture and put somebody in there.
Okay. Putting them on.
Putting them on, and so it was like it got real bad.
Which is nothing wrong, right, with putting people on. It's just how you do it.
Exactly.
How was it done?
And then it was just like it was harsh, brutal. So for example, right, drivers, if you were in that time, if you were one of his drivers, you could get away with accidents. Like so this dude actually threw down a whole wall with the rig, didn't get one write up. I had another guy that was Mexicano, and he scraped the bottom. You know, they have utility boxes on the trucks. Like, yeah. So he scratched the bottom. Got a third write up. Got fired. Okay. So I mean, it's not like
doesn't weigh out. It doesn't.
It was something like Gio Marz. If you know me now, I'm very diplomatic. I try to be like wait things out. I've changed from my younger days, and it was real visible, and that's kind of what fired up the whole like
activist side.
Yeah,
or sort of like
because Gio Marz wasn't like the
speak up.
Yeah, speak up. It was, that's kind of what sparked it right there and then. Was when I started seeing things not being fair, and the fact that you had to like bow down your head because you needed to pay your bills and keep your family. Like a lot of the guys there had been working for 20 years, 25 years, like very 10-year employees.
Oh, and they were dropping left and right, or over so, dumb shit.
Yeah, and not just that, the ones that were not getting dropped, like they were like taking the whole like beat down, right? Kind of like in domestic violence, right? Like whoever is getting beat up, they just keep taking it because there's no other ways. There's no way out for you, right? So like, at this point I was like 24, 25, 26 maybe, I don't know, but I grew the balls. I guess you could say I grew the balls to like start signing up. It was supposed to be the union backing its employees up. Like that's how I saw it, right? So I kind of, maybe that's why I grew the balls, because I thought I was gonna have support, right? And so I started speaking out and started learning that I started putting a big target on my back. Like to the point where when I was driving, I was getting kind of like followed around, like to see where I would messed up. Like they were taking pictures because obviously we were like hauling propane, so you had to put the hose over your shoulder when you connect, and 3-point contacts when you get out, 3-point contacts when you get in, and like all these things. Like, are you wearing your helmet, your shield, your goggles under your shield, your like everything, right? It had to be on point, and it got super stressful. Like,
you kind of knew you had to do that, or someone gave you a heads up?
No, we knew we had to get.
No, but you knew you were getting set up in a way, or that's what made it stressful, knowing that like, if you weren't being followed, you would have slacked on some of those things maybe every now and then.
Well, it's once they started putting a target in your back, you knew that they would go out through these like safety drive outs, like trying to see if you were doing things safe, right? And then to top it out, like you have these cameras in your trucks. They record you and they record like so the road, right? Which is good in the case of no fault accident. Yeah. But a lot of times what's happening was they were writing you up for not having both hands on the steering wheel. For looking like that, like if you brake kind of too hard, if somebody cut you off, you had to go do a little retraining. So they were making your life like real impossible. The last thing that kind of drew the straw for me was every Thursdays we had safety meetings, and this person that was in charge of this district said at one of the meetings was like, some of you guys should be like out in the fields picking avocados. And that just didn't sink well with me, like at all. I was like, are you kidding me? Like it's kind of been like we felt that whole reverse racism, but for you to just like say it out, like some of us should be out picking avocados, right? To me, it was super disrespectful, because no soy de Michoacán es mío, type of thing. Like avocados come from Michoacán. Yeah, my family, like my kids have that Michoacano in them, and to me it was like you're not gonna say that. So I remember talking to this person and telling him, like, look, what you said was out of line. Like, I made it real clear there that I wasn't going to tolerate it anymore. So it's like, I would never tell your people to go and pick out, like, I guess, not to be fucked up, but I would never tell your people to go pick up cotton. Right? That's super disrespect. Like, I want you to understand that what you said is way out of line. My people, till this day, are still out in the fields, picking. So why would you say that? And that's where we declared war, I guess. And ended up being sorry.
You do know that when you say something started by no offense, some people choose to take offense regardless. So yeah, it sounds like maybe he did take offense, and that's why the war was declared, right?
Maybe your comeback. It could have, and that's when I knew that, like, it was, at that time I needed my job to pay the bills, and I just saw, it's funny because I saw one of my, I guess, ex co-workers from another place, like, post a meme, and it was something like, oh, when people like try you, and you go in the restroom and you're like, all pissed off, but I can't, when you can't lose it because you need to pay the bills. There you go. Like, so at that moment, I said, literally to my mind, I said, like, man, fuck the bills. Like, like it is what it is, right? So I remember just like I hated with a passion going to work. One of those things where you're like I hate it. It was like misery, right? I'm just trying to figure myself out. And like what can I do? What cards can I play?
Mm-hmm.
And
hold up. At this point, had you adapted your lifestyle to match the income you were making? Was that one of the things that tied you to it?
Man, like,
you know, if you made more, now you have more debt, or do you feel that you still
honestly,
stayed below
like,
means?
At that point, lifestyle? What lifestyle? Like, I literally, I did. So, I actually, before I started working at this place, I already had my mortgage. Because I actually bought my first house when I was 20. So
that's
but
a very good milestone. Right?
It's a good milestone. Like I could probably say like, hey, that was kind of, I don't know what it was, but I knew that I wasn't into like, I didn't want to go to a car dealership and get a car. I kind of knew I wanted a house. So I got my first house when I was 20. But you say lifestyle, I didn't have a lifestyle. Like it was literally making enough to just pay my mortgage, right? Put gasoline in the car. And it was no like eating out. Like it wasn't a fancy lifestyle. Like honestly, it was just, it was getting by, right? Like sustaining my daughter, sustaining the household. And that's the only thing I didn't pull the plug earlier. It was because I had to figure out how to like buy my daughter like food, right?
Yeah.
And when I said fuck the bills, like honestly, I actually went back to the place, and when I resigned, no 2-week notice, I actually wrapped up a box as a gift and I gave it to the management, and it was just a bunch of avocados. A true story. Like people that work there will confirm the story. And then I told them like, I'd rather go pick avocados and work one more fucking day for you guys. And I kind of didn't know like what I was gonna do. But my dad had been truck driving and he was in the container hauling, and then that's kind of when we decided to play all the, like I literally bought a truck with the little money that I had off of Craigslist. That's when I bought Rhino, or my gray International. And bought it in the city industry. We found it on Craigslist, and it was kind of like risky because actually when he listed it for more than what I actually had. So I made him an offer of, it was like 20 grand for the truck, and so it was like that's all I had. Like if it broke down, as soon as I drove it, like if the engine blew out, the tranny, whatever, I literally had no money to fix it. Luckily, the guy was honest, like, and it was actually a pretty good truck. Good truck. That's what made me.
What year did you get it again? In what year did you buy it?
This must have been in. So I'm bad with timelines, but I know when I quit, it was been 2016.
Okay.
And then it was a 2011. My truck.
Yeah.
2011. So it was like, it was kind of risky, but luckily I did the job.
At the time, your dad was an owner op too, or he was driving?
No, I don't know what my dad was doing at the time. Actually, not sure what he was doing at that time. I can't recall. But no, he was an owner. He wasn't an owner op. My dad had been in the container business, I guess you could say. I think he must have been driving for a company. He was.
Okay.
Yeah, he was driving for a company at that time, because my dad lost his trucks back in, when is it, when everybody lost their trucks in 2008, something like 2008, 2009, something like that. Yeah, my dad lost a couple of trucks. Like, he sold them, I think, for like $3 grand.
Oh, that's too low.
Yeah, $3 or $4 grand.
Did he know he could trade them in and get?
Yeah, but he was just in.
Yeah, it's not worth it to him.
Remember,
maybe.
Like, you remember?
I think you would get a voucher.
$150,000 in debt to run your truck day and night. My dad was like, "I'm not gonna enslave myself to." We had it. He had his mortgage, and he waited out, and he decided not to go the owner op route. And so I guess when we bought the Gray International, that's when I ended up kind of taking the owner out,
road.
Yeah.
At what point does your dad come into the picture where you guys operate together? And
yeah, my dad was mostly like I guess you could see he was my driver.
Yeah. How was that?
It was, I mean, it was good. Honestly, it was more like from me, I was like whatever he was making, that was all for him. Like I wasn't doing the 40-60 or the 50-50 split. It was he could keep it all because he was my dad.
What about the expenses, the diesel and all that shit?
Yeah, so he would like oh, I don't pay for diesel and whatever he used. But he was my pop, so I didn't like tax him for.
That's the legit structure. Like, do you remember exactly the structure? Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I believe like being good to your family, right? Like, hey, it's my dad, my mom. It's like can't really.
Then how long before you got your investment back and all that?
I made it pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah, like I mean, I was even though I was el pre-pool in emptying, I didn't go for it. I figured that once I got into my little routine of like just going in and out, in and out of the port, I made pretty good money. And then like the hazmat, it was always a bonus. Like nobody wanted to move hazmat. I'm coming from moving 10,000 gallons of propane.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you guys are scared of moving like Mexican candy,
Yeah.
So it's like, I just, it was good. Like I made my investment pretty quick, to be honest. And then, I was actually like, I took on the I was an owner op. Like I was subleased to a company, right?
Yeah.
And then, they were taking care of me, to be honest. Like they I'm pretty grateful. Like they gave me a chance to park for free. And
what else did you learn? Like going into owner op world, like what some things you learned the hard way, maybe, or what do you recall? Like, oh shit, now I know.
Maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah, like tires and I'm like, I guess the most expensive bill on maintenance was my turbo. Luckily, I was able to rebuild it.
Yeah.
But I remember when my turbo gave out, I was like, man, that's going to be like a pretty penny, right? And it's what messed up the turbo was those clean air filters that it's supposed to, but all the carbon, is it monoxide or whatever it is?
Yeah, how was that?
Messed up the turbo because, the little fans and or little, whatever you call it. I'm not a mechanic, but all the carbon got stuck in there. Is it carbon? Yeah.
Yeah, gunk, whatever.
It is. It got stuck in there. It's messed up the turbo, and they're like, yeah, you're probably going to replace it. And that was kind of scary for me. I think that would have been my most expensive bill. Luckily, I got to, like, rebuild it and stuff. But, like swapping tires, all your tires, if you want American tires, then it's, you're spending more money. If you want the recap or, the Chinese tires, a little bit cheaper, but still, I mean, you're still spending it, or I don't know.
Yeah, lo barato sale caro a veces. Sometimes those recaps, they don't.
And it sucks because I remember when I got my American steer tires, literally like 2 weeks into it, I got a huge bolt on one of them.
Oh man.
So shit like that happens, but
sometimes even those blow out.
Yeah.
You never know.
So just the maintenance, the bills, man. Like just because you're having a good week doesn't mean you can go blow it out. You gotta always think about the downtime and the maintenance and when they're like typically the last couple of years it was like when the Chinese New Year slowed down, right? You gotta remember that you gotta make it through that stretch.
Oh yeah, save up for that point.
Yeah, save up for that point. That way you're not stressing. But
yeah. Would you recommend working with family and going as far as sharing a truck?
Yeah, if you're trying to take care of your peoples, why not? Obviously, like family first. I'm a very family-oriented person, but if you look at it from a business standpoint, like with my beloved pops, took a few L's. Like I remember I got like 2 or 3 phone calls that he had hit a crash post, and then okay, I'll take care of it, type of thing, right? No, I'll help y'all, but it's just,
hey, I hit something again, son.
Yeah,
I love ya.
Like,
don't trip out when you see this fender missing.
Yeah, like the fender, or like he hit the front bumper, like from each side, like with the crash post. So yeah, he ran into a container at Harper Division 1. So yeah, those like if you're gonna work with family, just make your mind and like just know that it's gonna happen. So,
or put the expectations up front, like this is how it's gonna go beforehand, right? Or because figuring it out as you go, sometimes you learn a lot about each other, and then it might not work.
Like to me,
you ever bumped heads? You ever?
No.
No.
I can't. So I know how my dad is.
Okay.
Right. Like I don't know if your dad, but my relation with my pops is pretty solid. So I knew, like, at the end of the day, it was out of good heart. Like I wasn't doing it to make money with him. Right. Now if it would have been somebody else, then you set the expectations.
20%.
$8 an hour. Just kidding.
So, when did you decide to exit the truck? There came a point, right?
I didn't decide.
No,
it's like I didn't decide. Remember? Okay, so you remember when we were doing that whole society thing?
Yeah.
And we said I said one day, hey, like, I didn't choose the movement chose me. Remember that phrase? Okay, so that's kind of what happened. To me, it was more of opportunity to stop driving.
Okay.
The propane company and the union.
Yeah.
I had decided for myself that I never wanted to work for anybody.
Okay.
So this is where being an owner operator, and then I gradually grew into the GM transport, or was it Gio Martinez transport? Something like that. Gio Martinez transport. And I did that for a couple months, or I don't know how long. Yeah, maybe up to a year. I was doing that, and then it was pretty good. Like, honestly,
the own authority side of things.
The own authority, like, I did pretty good. I got pretty good. I mean, can we talk numbers or no?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so
if you're comfortable with it,
I mean, there was
your information.
It's not, and full disclosure, it's not like I have that money in the bank. But anyways, it's just like I remember being own authority, and then I was making from Con Global to the port empty terminations. Yeah, it was like $500 each. Yeah, and
that's a local yard around here for those that aren't from Cali. Was the one-way mileage as well, like 4 miles, something 5 miles to the terminal and back?
Yeah, and we were making like $500 for each empty. And we did that for a good time, right? And
that adds up quick. I'll be loving empties.
Yeah. So like on my worst day because of congestion, 2. Yeah. I had really good days where I was doing like 5. Right?
Beautiful.
So like it was pretty good. So I just like that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't really think of like me stepping out the truck, right? I was
Not with those numbers, shit.
I was loving what I was doing, and my mentality was like work for Gio and work for myself, and I wanted to build like my trucking company. I had these conversations with you before. Like that was my dream, like or part of my dream, like building a trucking company, building the legacy for my kids and all this, right?
Yes.
And then opportunity presented itself from, I think I'm jumping ahead on the little timeline, but
well,
you know that,
it's gonna make sense.
You asked the question, so that's why I jumped in there. But it's just opportunity came, and I guess we can keep going further on this down the.
Yeah, we'll just get to it. Let's see. The timeline was wrong on my end the way I asked it. So I guess what I could say is that while we were doing these things, while you were doing this and it led to other opportunities,
right,
you were still balancing the whole running your trucking company. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay, so all right, let's go with this. So we know the timeline up until when we attempted to do that Continental Society thing, and it kind of didn't work out.
I'm gonna rephrase it.
No, what?
Well, not attempted. We actually did it. Like, See, we did the society, right? So
yeah. So I know we got a little bit of in that part of the timeline. You know, there was some interesting stuff.
It was so it makes sense because
right?
the whole time that I was from the owner operator, from sublease to full authority, and that during that whole time lapse, this is where me and you were started like mingling
and so then in that I learned about myself, you know, some things I had to work on and being a better team player and whatnot. So that didn't work out, and then
but it did though. See, that's how I look at it. It did work out.
Not the way that I
not the vision,
you know, the end goal, but
exactly.
It ain't over till it's over though, right?
It,
so right now I still consider it like a transition phase where
right.
If I don't work on me, I can't be good for anyone.
Right.
So, and
Makes
you got
sense.
a little taste of, I would say, my bad side at some point. You know.
Yeah.
Although we're like on good terms now, but at some point you did say I'm not a good team player, right? And it was true. Now that I look back.
When I walked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. At that point, I was just like, you know, like and you know this. What happened at that time was honest. I was like, everything I did was for the best of us or the society, and then just the whole friction where you felt like you couldn't trust me, right? And the whole like team player thing. It's like if I'm doing something out of like good faith and that person can't see it, then I'm just kind of wasting my time.
Respect yourself enough to see your value and walk out.
Yeah, so that's at that point, and but I can say is that but I can say is good things happen out of that.
Yeah,
like really good things happen out of that, and I'm super grateful for that. Like everything that we did, even though you're a bad team player, whatever however you want to say it, I think we did everything that we did it out of good heart, right? And good things happen to good people at the end. So even if
it was going pretty fast,
you know, like if you don't, like I know sometimes because I know you think that you know you need to work on yourself, whatever, booty boo, booty blah, da da da, you know, whatever you want to say it. But I think you're a good person. Actually, you have a good heart. Right, and good things happen to good people, right? It might not seem that way because things line up differently, right? The man upstairs or the universe or the stars, whatever you want to believe in, will line them up differently for you and for me, right? Like my dark tunnel was when I hated going to fucking work every day.
Yeah, 3 years.
Honest to God, 3. It was real bad for me. Like I zero sleep, anxiety, depression. On even during that time, I'll even get more personal with you. Like my daughter was going through seizures, like kind of like we didn't know if it was epilepsy, what it was. Like kind of
the propane company. Yeah.
Like I don't open up a lot, but like I guess my daughter, but now I can tell you she's like ever since she was 6, she hasn't had seizures. She's 9, so we've had a good 3 years.
Glad to hear that, man.
But like your situation at home, right? Like everybody has their battles, and then with the workplace, do you hate it? Do you not? Right? Like, so I went through a very dark tunnel for 2 to 3 years where I felt bad. Like, there's pictures of me out there where I'm like unhealthy, skinny, bro. Like, like people could tell I was sick. Like my, people that love you, like your mom, and like, what's wrong with you? And like nothing, because you don't open up, and then you just lay in bed and can't sleep because you got a zillion thoughts going through your head. I've been there. I know what it is to like just let everything eat yourself up, right? But the point is that the world lines it up different for you, or the universe, or God, whatever I believe in God, so like God lined it up, right? I had to go through that to learn, grow, to kind of where you're at now. Like it was the learning curve, or however you want to see it, right? And with our society, that's what happened. Like at the end of the day, good things came out of it. Maybe not for everybody, like
immediately,
but like for you and me, I can tell you that good things happen. Like I see it for you and for me, right? Like from one place to the next. And this is just the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I got a little taste of my own, like, I would say maybe arrogance at the time, or I just felt like I knew the way and it had to be my way. You know what I mean? And then I remember being as cocky as going as far as the cocky ladder, as saying like, if it's not, if you know, if you want it done right, do it yourself. And then I was like, now looking back, that's like the stupidest comment I've made, if you think about it, because something big like what I desired to accomplish cannot be done alone. And I learned a lot, you know, but it's like stuff that you see later down the line. And maybe there's some people that I burned, I don't want to say burned bridges completely, but there is like that whole, who knows if there's resentment out there or not, you know. But at the end of the day, I know that deep down, like all my control freak issues and all that shit is out of like the deep love that I have for what I'm trying to build, you know. And then it's just sometimes you want it your way and it just doesn't work out. I don't know. It's just the timing wasn't right. Because then after that, I still kept like having my personal issues, the addiction, alcoholism. Shortly after that, I lost the office anyway, so there was some shit to, you know, do.
Right.
You know, I'd show up there and play business. I'm like, I'm in the office. I have an office. What the fuck?
Right.
You know, and it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, but we're still here. Thank God. You know.
Yeah.
And it eventually led to other opportunities, but so I've always told you, like every time I run into you, I bring it up, and I'm like, you know, looking back on that, you know, it could have been another way if I would have been more open, you know.
Right.
But on the positive note, like it's not over, you know. Like I'm still like working on it. I'm still trying to give value to the trucking community, and then eventually whatever's meant to be will happen.
Right.
Know?
No, like it's just
Because I feel. Go ahead.
No, it's just it just who knows?
Yeah. Because I feel like I say Goodyear, you think tires, right? I say Peterbilt, you think truck. You know. I say Egg McMuffin, you think. I mean, as far
Carl
as
Jr.
Oh, I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So you say Containeroz, what do you think? You know, it's like.
Yeah.
It needs to be more definitive. Like, what exactly is it? Or can it be multiple things, you know? And if it is multiple things, how the fuck do I strategize to make it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words, but...
Well, if it makes you feel...
Because I've always wanted it to be more than just like, oh, I see the stickers everywhere, or, oh, I see it everywhere. Like, you see it everywhere, but what value do you get from it? Like, what am I building here?
More than a brand, I think it's just like, to me, if you ask Gio Marz, it's more of a like lifestyle. Like To me, I consider myself a containero.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. I absolutely love the container industry. The I mean, I'm not in the truck. I miss the
Yeah.
truck. I do. Like, there's days where I'll look at my old stories and my archives, and it's like, oh man, like that was pretty cool. I miss that, right? And it just, I miss like I'm not on the gram as much as I used to be before because of just your daily like task, I guess you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
say.
You get really busy with other shit.
And but honestly, like, and people know who they are. Like, I miss the whole talking to you guys, and when we were in the trucks, and just like like the culture. Like, hey, or hey, estoy haciendo aquí filan, yang mi, Kyle, I'll let you cut, and like the whole helping each other out. Somebody broke down, somebody gonna go pull you out, like helping the new booties out at the port, like. Hey, they're lost around, and they just kind of run into you, help them out.
Yeah.
Like, it's the culture, I guess you could say, right? And like, I don't know. I consider myself a containero.
Yeah. To make it simple, I guess I wanted to make container hauling cool. If that's,
And it is.
you know what I mean? Like, put it out there. This is what we do. We're proud of that shit. Don't be embarrassed to be a container hauler. People talk shit. You're a peer rat and all this stuff. Okay, cool. But where does your shit come from that you put in your trailer or on your table? At some point, it comes on the container. And we deal through all that stressful shit to make it happen. And we happen to like it in the process. We talk a lot of shit, but we don't leave,
No, we don't leave.
So it was that. And then once you get in there, you see all the political shit. And then you start getting that sense of like, oh, fuck. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Let me speak on it. But then there's a lot of like political shit too. And then there's people that support you only when it's raining, but then when everything's cool, there's cricket. So it can't be on and off. It has to be you're on full time, or not only when it benefits you. So it's like there's all these little things that we could tap into. But I mean, that's life. Nothing is ever perfect, right?
Right.
We'll just come down to the intention. Do we care about container haulers, the trucking? Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Or if it's in our power to do something good, will we? Very likely. So, yeah, that's that. But it did. Learning experience. We're still here. We can still, there's still room for growth. That led to HTA shortly after. That led to Cargomatic. I'm speaking for you, your little timeline, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And then from there, ultimately, recently, your latest Movida. Tell it. Hey, that's mine, though. You got to ask them to give you your own. Well, you can touch it here.
I am. Shout out to my awesome workers, colleagues, employees. That sounded wrong. You might want to edit that, but like,
your intentions are good.
Like, I don't know. I'm actually
shout out to the Talon Clica.
Talon Clica. There you go. It's you know what? I'm gonna highlight. I've been there for a couple weeks, and the culture there is super amazing.
I bet. I could tell. So it's real. It goes deeper than what you see online, right?
It's actually like real.
Shout out Manny.
Shout out to Manny.
Yeah. Much love, bro. He's episode 7. Huh?
Yeah. Manny, Alex, Jose, everybody that's there, like, it's super amazing. I've never felt more welcome somewhere. It was keep in mind that I went from my previous job was 5 minutes with traffic.
Oh shit.
To the office.
Okay.
To like an hour ish.
Okay.
To where I'm going now, but.
And you do it daily now?
Pretty much.
But you're buying a house out there anyways, right?
Trying to, yeah.
You got that goal?
Yeah,
so
it's
you're kind of setting it up then. You got these.
Yeah, I'm trying to buy a house that way. I want to stay within the 5 minutes to work, but just finding a house is kind of tough, especially when you got your other half trying to fulfill her dreams too, like how the house should be, and 2 different minds. But
I heard it's gonna get harder to get a house. It's gonna come a point where you could buy fractions of a house. Have you heard of that? Like all these people, all these wealthy people are just buying up real estate like crazy, while they're telling people like me not to buy. That is like a bad time. Meanwhile, they're scooping up all the market.
I'll sell you a room, like, you know, and then people
are
just
just
buying rooms. Yeah,
I could totally see it happening.
Yeah,
you know. So, shit. But anyways, not to steer too far from this. So yeah, that's the timeline. You know, there's a lot of good came from that. And what has all of that taught you about the industry, moving up the ladder like that?
There's so much to do and to learn in the industry, right? Like, let's take our 2 examples here at this table.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like you've built like such a very good social media platform.
Mm-hmm.
We can probably consider that like marketing, good for sales, even news. Like, you know, you got big like news outlets just for transportation, right?
Yeah,
like media, like that's one venture, you know, or one route or whatever. But then you have the whole operational side, right? How does one container get from point A to point B, right? How does it make it back to the port? Sometimes it comes in at this port and then has to go out to the Midwest somewhere, right, on the rail. So there's so many jobs like marketing, sales, there's operations, there's the people that are at high level, you know, well, how do you say this? Shaking hands, making babies, you know, like, you know, trying to get those big, nice contracts. Like, there's so much. It's a whole world. It's a huge world of opportunity. And it's not just like when I was a truck driver, never really knew that there was so much opportunity, right? Like, to grow. So
I remember at one point I thought when I became an owner op, that was the top. Like, oh shit, I made it. You know, it's the goal to get my own truck, right? There's way more.
There's a lot. Like, people decide to put their own companies, right? Like, there's guys that are just in the yards business, right? Like putting up yard storage. There's technology companies that are taking over the trucking industry. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
During one of these ventures, you ended up selling the truck, right? At what point? Which one of these? At what phase did you let go of the truck and just went all in on the operation side, or the whole? You would say like the backside of.
Well, it was like, again, like I didn't put it. I never really posted it for sale. It was somebody that was kind of like, I wasn't paying attention to the truck. You know, my pops was kind of running it, but like it wasn't as consistent. So the truck was kind of sitting around more than. So somebody just kind of hit me up, like, hey, do you want to sell your truck? And I mean, the truck I had already reaped
the rewards,
and plus, like, selling the truck, kind of like what I bought it for was.
That's a win.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of, you know, like, all right, you know, like, I just made the decision there and there, you know, then and there. And
was it during the time that they were very expensive?
Yeah. Oh. They're starting to
so you could have got more then.
Yeah, probably, but it was at the time where trucks were like way out of, like,
okay.
They were blowing, you know, the prices up.
Okay. And then when you did that, did you feel like you let your pops down, or did you feel a sense of responsibility to take care of him after that? Like, what's he gonna do? Did you talk about it before you did it?
No, I think, I if I recall, I think they actually told my dad first.
Oh, and he ran it by you.
Yeah. So I never really, like, felt bad because he was the one that brought it up, I think. If I recall correctly.
What is he doing these days, if you don't mind me asking?
He's driving for driving for a company, yeah.
Can't stop trucking, huh?
Can't stop trucking, yeah. He recently picked up. I'm super grateful for that company, so that I'm a shot. So
the what?
He grateful for that company where he's at working. So I just don't want to burn myself and let them know that.
Yeah.
I'm his kid, because they might like, that's your son.
Okay. What about, is it a good time to start a trucking company right now or become an owner operator right now, in your opinion? For people that ask me in the DM.
It's a good time to learn because it's slow.
Okay.
Right. I'm always like positive. Right.
It's a good time to learn to pay insurance for a parked truck.
Yeah, parked truck. Fucking with you. You know, like maybe not right away. If somebody, okay, so I think something that I forgot to mention was before I actually bought the truck, I actually went to work for a company. I think it was less than 30 days, where I worked for a company and I got like $20 to move a load from here to Damco, from like the port to Damco, something like that.
Oh, you had a port experience then for a couple of days or a month.
For like a month.
And then you bought a truck.
Yeah. So, you know, like I think it's good for you to before you get into it, like just if you're a company driver, you kind of know what it is, right? Like if you like for a port company, you know, driver, drayage, just give yourself the opportunity. Like don't just get your business plan going, right? Like your finances, how are they doing? Like, are you gonna buy the truck cash? Are you gonna finance it? Do you have money for maintenance? Are you gonna have money for your bills? Right? I think our biggest thing sometimes is we think of it as just driving a truck, but it's actually a business, right? So if you're gonna become an owner operator, if you're gonna start your own company, it's a business. Have your business plan, right? Forecast the worst, plan for the best. So
if it's in their gut, simply put, if it's in their gut, they want to try it, fucking do it, right?
Yeah. You're never going to know. Like, yeah. It's like, you're always going to be scared of doing, like big moves take big balls.
Yeah. Then don't let other people approve your destiny. Right. Just make the choice and go for it.
Yeah.
You know?
So, like it is slow. You know, like, I can't tell you, just jump in and you're going to make all this money. Like, no, I'm just saying do your homework, you know. Anyways, like, getting your permits, all that, it takes a while right now. So start getting that into play. Yeah. You know, and then it's going to pick up, so.
Did you keep your license?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel that, I had this one here. Do you feel that keeping it plants the seed of a plan B? Like,
no.
No? How do you see it keeping it? Just the extra tool in the toolbox?
Actually, I know that Gio Marz should be humble at all times.
Yeah.
But when I meet people that have never fucking driven a truck, that just, I don't know, like that's a good feeling to have. Like people that are, you know, like talking about operations, but you don't know what it is to.
Oh, okay, that's the credentials right there.
Like man, like, you know. Yeah. Oh, like people that talk about how port operations work, and I'm just like, you've never fucking driven a truck. Get out of here! Like
you don't even have your Twix card, bro.
Your Twix card, you know. Like to me, that's like it's that credential. Like, hey,
you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I know what it takes, right? And it's cool because when you talk to drivers, right, like sometimes they look at you as.
You're just the office guy.
Yeah, he's the office guy. But then once they're having trouble, and they're
puto.
You know, like,
do you see restrictions on there?
Like no restrictions. Oh, eyeglasses, whatever. Yeah. But
the Gucci though.
Costco, baby, Costco. So yeah, like to me, it's just that's the real deal type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
okay. I guess I asked that in a way because I was kind of, should I keep it or not? Because I'm eligible to reinstate it as of the 10th of this month, right? And I'm like, I wonder if I'll have that in the back of my mind, like always like a backup, like, oh, well you know, si algo doesn't, if it doesn't work out, you can always go back to trucking, you know, like, and I don't say it like trucking, like it's a bad thing. I just say it like, maybe, I don't know. Sometimes the thought process is altered by what you have around you. So it's like if you see that like an escape when things get a little tough, then it might set you up for failure in a way, like if you had other goals.
The way I see it is like how super bad, like in my case, right, director of operations, right, and then I've had a few.
The title sounds very sexy.
The director, it's just the title, people get fancy with it, but So in my case, I actually managed a few yards, help with the operation of a few yards. We actually got to start up a few yards, so I have that
Oh yeah,
experience.
yeah.
Um, put it together, but it's kind of trippy. Like, like when people that work with you, they don't know where your background comes from.
Oh,
So when they see you jump on a truck and like
make it happen.
making it happen, and you don't look like you're struggling because like it's not like you're like like
Hey,
like
the tree.
like they look at you like what the hell like where's this guy come from, right? And then
Don't trip, homie.
say hey, like hey, this is. I literally look for those opportunities where I can hop on a truck just because I made it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I miss it, and so it was pretty cool. Like at the few of the yards, I hopped on the little mulitas and the yard hustlers, and and it's like, hey, where'd this guy come from? Like, hey, come on, bro. Like, I know the porch like the back of my hands,
How is it to organize something like that, like a yard? Like if you're gonna, as a yard, open up a yard from scratch. Obviously, you secure the land or whatever contract or whatever, right? Or lease agreement. And then what? Like, how do you plan? Like, you got to reach out. It's sales as well, right? Like, hey, we have this yard now. Come on down. Or
yeah, it's just different ways.
Get a flow.
Yeah, different companies approach it different ways, right? So it was just like however some people. Some companies do it because they have the business there. Some other companies do it because they have faith that the business will come. So like some people build it before it's
okay,
right, and then
just there's
other people that actually build it because there's a need already for it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it just depends, but yes, you're right. Like sales, like you always want a sales team. You want safety team. All of the like it's. To me, I did it out of passion. When I saw the opportunity to do it, I did it because I was like, that's pretty dope. Like, wheeled, grounded, like all that. It was an opportunity that was. But
what goal in mind do you go with when you go to that facility? Like, what's the end goal? To have everything nice and straight, or to have a flow going? When they come in, they go through here. When they leave, they go here. Wheeled here.
Like wherever I go is this is just Gio Marz. Rule of thumb is like help build something that can flow without you being there anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So it's none of this like, oh, I'm the only one that has to do it. No, it's more like teach everybody that's there how to do it. Teach is probably weird, but it's more like let's learn together how we can put this thing together and keep it alive, right? So once everybody figures it out and we build the system, then just keep it going, right? And so it went from being there every single day and night, like till just
to see where the hiccups are.
Yeah, and then from that to like I'll be there like once every other week or every 1 to 2 weeks or once a month, like because people, stepped up and did what they're doing, this type of thing.
But you wanted to see the flow. That's why you went. To see if the operation was...
Well, and my past experience was, like, building it. So it was, like, part of my job was to help build it.
Draw out the yard plan or build it?
Yeah, pretty much, like, assist. So, we had people that had some experience. And, well, not some experience. Like, people that had experience. And then with their ideas and my ideas and... we built something from scratch. So I've had the opportunity to build something from scratch.
Sounds fun.
That like the layout,
like your own little Conglobal somewhere else.
Yeah, like right? How the trucks are gonna come in, how they're gonna come out, how are you gonna lay it out, how high, and that was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
pretty sweet.
It does sound fun. Yeah. What was your biggest challenge in your transition from owner op to the office side of things?
Believing in myself.
Why is that?
It's like, can I really do this? Like,
you sound like you believe in yourself already. Like,
yeah, but it's just like it's scary because it's a whole different thing. Like it's dealing with like people, systems, like a whole like it was just my truck, my little business, and then like sometimes. Even remember that little projects that we had. Like, it's,
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's not. It's like 10 trucks that you deal with, like 10 different people, like dealing with so many people, and then it was tough. Like, just believing in your capacities. Like, I always got up and worked, but it was just like sometimes you go somewhere and it's just like you got to put yourself out there, right? Like, it's not somebody's not always gonna grab your hand and show you. It's more like, boom, go out and get it done, right? So I don't know if that makes sense, but like kind of like believing in my capacity. Like, before, I very, very basic Excel, Google Sheet skill set.
Oh, yeah.
Like, click and then click, right? And then to like just growing based on your when you're under stress, that's when you learn the most, like, right? When they give you a data or whatever, like, hey, we need to figure this out. It's like, oh, well, I wonder if what happens if I do this and this to see if this right? So it's like when you're under stress, you learn. And like, I was very basic at my computer skill set, understanding like the data, and I kind of like, I don't know, I didn't consider myself still very good, but I've learned a lot.
What responsibilities come with those jobs that most owner ops might not know about?
Oh man, my favorite is like when you have a project or a customer that we just need to move, like we just need to get it done, right? And then dealing with multiple personalities with, I'm not gonna do that shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not gonna do it. So like you know, like Luis and Gio, like I look back on at my trucking days, and I'm like, man, I would have hated myself, like if I'm like in the office, Gio talking to trucker Gio.
Oh, okay.
I would have been like, you know this, I wouldn't go past the 710 in Long Beach. Right, that's where my wheels locked.
Yeah.
Right. That's whole.
You would get lost.
I would get lost. Like after Long Beach and the 710, I would like, oh, where am I?
Out of the comfort zone.
So I know that we understand. Like, first of all, I'm a trucker's advocate. You know, I will always listen to the truck drivers, defend the truck drivers, but it's like it's hard for them to understand. Like, if there's a customer, there's a need, we got to cover those needs so that we can keep the business going, right? So if we don't cover that the customer's needs, then we don't have containers to move, and then that's what's kind of happening now, right? Like, if there's no containers, then the trucks are parked, right? But it's the same thing when there's cargo or no cargo. Like, you know, we make a business decision to move these boxes, and we just sometimes truck drivers are not the easiest. Like, we gotta massage it in there, like, like, you know, like they show up somewhere and they gotta move one box in front of the other one.
That was me. I'm gonna bill you for that.
It's not my job. I'm going home, whatever. Like, hey, papi, you know, tranquilo, like, you know, ayúdame con esta, like, you know, it's called massaging it in there. Like, that's my word. So
we'll massage my $25 in there for moving an empty off the dock, and that's cheap. All right. If not, then next time you call me, I ain't going. Yeah.
So that's kind of like, that's tough, right? Trying to keep everybody happy.
But now you appreciate that side of the business now, and give them their credit now that you're a part of it.
Yeah.
Right. So out of all the roles, which one was your favorite?
I really enjoyed like the yards.
Okay, maybe that tells you something about yourself. Maybe there's something there that
like build, like,
yeah.
So I'm a builder.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I love building. Hands-on building.
Okay.
Like, whatever it takes. Like,
yeah.
If it was me standing out in the sun directing traffic, a lot of people that saw me at the yards, they saw me take that sun beat, right? Because in the beginning, it was just that's what it took. Yeah. So like checking trucks in, checking them out, not because fancy title again, director. He's not gonna go out and do what it's like I'm hands on. Let's get the job done. Let's do it until we figure out, and then you pull away and blah blah blah. Right. So
that's what you are now, right? Director of operations
at Talon.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got a little.
And it's similar to that. Where you have experience.
It got a little fancier now because I am the senior director of operations.
Okay.
But
well deserved, right? You put in the work. So.
At the end of the day, honestly, like people that work with me in the past and now, like, what's your title? I'm just Gio Marz, man. Like, I'm here to just help out, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, like.
Without fear to the success.
Sin miedo al éxito, papi. Yeah. Like it's like titles. I mean, some people, if they really want to know what the title is, then I'll tell them. But at the end of the day, just Gio Marz. Right.
Sometimes it gets in the head, right? Like, oh, that's my title, so that's what I should stick to. Versus like wearing multiple hats, and maybe you're good at a lot of things, and just fucking be that person that can make it happen, whatever is needed in the moment. You know? I think that adds more value.
Yeah. Like, to me, if driver, I want everybody, not just driver, like everybody that works around me to feel comfortable. Like, hey, to the point where it's like, I've had drivers like, hey, can you make me a cup of coffee, right? Because sometimes it'll run out in the driver's room. Sure, like I'll make you a cup of coffee. Like, I've seen people in the past where like, I've worked with people in the past, way in my young days. This environmental company that I work for, the owners, if a driver would say hi to them, they would neglect you. Like, who are you? Why are you talking to me?
Shouldn't you be working?
I'm the owner. I'm the owner's son or whatever. Whoever they think, like, dude, shut the fuck. Like your shit stinks just like everybody else's, right?
Yeah.
Like,
fuck you.
So, like, to me, it's kind of funny, but ever since I was young, I knew what I didn't want to do, or what I did, I didn't, where I didn't want to be. Let the rest kind of just unfold, and I don't know. That's kind of like, to me, is like just Gio Marz, just help out, like do things out of good faith.
So, which one taught you more about yourself?
I think every stage in life you learn. I try to keep a learning attitude, I guess overall, like just
what have you learned about yourself overall then, to make it more like general, like, in the process?
Overall, I think, I don't know, that's a big question, man.
Yes, I got a good one. I got a good question.
What I've learned about myself, I think, you know what? That's the hardest part. That's the hardest question, when they make you think about yourself. At my previous place, they had for my outro, I did things right. I love where I used to work, and shout out to them too, to all my ex coworkers and the ex leadership there. But when I was leaving, they made me write like all my roles and duties, and kid you not, like it took me an entire day just to try to figure out like what I knew. It makes, like, I know what I do and I know where my duties were. Just once it came to like putting it on paper and then trying to figure out like,
what was the purpose of that?
Just so they can put my duties and my roles into other people's buckets, like somebody else. Right?
Oh, okay.
So you can't just leave and
then leave that gap.
There's a gap, right?
Okay.
So it's more like, what's
the next person gonna fill in?
Yeah. So like, divvy up for me, nobody else was coming in to fulfill it, right? Because I don't know, 2 weeks is enough or something. But so I divvy up everything. But the point is that it's super hard. Like, you're talking about like, what do I learn about myself? It's just
dun, 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 dun,
honestly,
dun,
I could tell you that I've learned that I like to respect people, no matter what their lifestyle is. It's kind of funny because we're talking about like business, transportation, but sometimes it's not your skill set; it's your attitude.
Okay.
The way you treat people, the way people, the way you treat people, they treat you, right? I've seen it sometimes, but since I've started my work life, like Taco Bell and the warehouse job off of Zeepo, and then went from there to an environmental company, to like the street sweepers, to the propane company, to the owner ops life, to Cargomatic, and to Talon.
It's a lot if you think about it.
I've noticed sometimes it's not your skill set, it's your attitude, the way you treat people. And I think I can go back through this whole time lapse, with the only exception of maybe the propane company and the management. They might hate me.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, fuck them. The feeling is mutual and doesn't make sense because I'm talking about respect, but I've known that people they've treated, like, I want to say a lot of the people have treated me different because the way I chose to treat them. Like, I see the way they react with me opposed to react to a different person.
But they react like how they react with that person, with you initially, but you steered it in another direction with your reaction.
You could say, like, it's the respect, right? So it's the way you treat people goes a long way. For example, everybody says good morning. What do I say? Great
Gucci
morning.
Gucci gang. Oh, no, okay.
Yeah. I did.
That too.
Great morning. Right?
What's Gucci?
Or what, right? And like, I like to set that difference because it allows people to actually, like, I don't know, like, I had people that for whatever reason they reach out, right? Because they feel like I'm a person that they can reach out to, and even though with everybody else they're punk ass and hard ass, right? With me is like there's that respect, and I think, and something that my mama told me was, hey, you can be a good worker and have a bad attitude, and they're probably gonna pick somebody. Like, when it comes to fire somebody, like if they gotta pick somebody, they're gonna pick somebody with okay working skills and a good attitude, right? She said, but if you have a good attitude and you're a good worker, like,
irreplaceable.
You go a long way.
Yeah.
Right? Those, I mean, if they,
Yeah. You get what you know what I meant, man.
But so to me, it's just your attitude, the respect. Like, I've learned that try to keep yourself composed, no matter how people treat you. You can only control how you treat them. And I think that's something that I've learned. I think something that I try to stick to. Not because you tell me to fuck off or fuck you or whatever. Like, I'm not going to react the same way.
Understood. More people should try that. And not be vinegar.
Not be vinegar.
What would you tell 18-year-old Gio if you could go back?
What I would tell 18-year-old Gio? I don't know about 18-year-old, but I would tell 16-year-old Gio to finish high school, at least, because I mean, it took my mom, especially my mom, my parents, but it took my mom a while to be proud, like of. So I'm an only kid, no brothers, no sisters.
Now that you mention that, you're right. I never noticed that.
And like for them, me not having that graduation picture, was kind of like a like I knew my mama wasn't proud.
Yeah.
Like of that. Like, it was something hard for her to digest. And obviously now we have conversations of where I'm at now, and just recently, like during the holidays, she sees like my other cousins that have gone to university, got degrees, and they're working at like In and Out, or they're a paralegal assistant, and like nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like you went and you got a whole ass degree to come out making 18, 19, 20 bucks an hour. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying, like, like
For people that want to compare and think that the statistics would dictate you should not be where you're at today.
right. And it's just like, to me, and just like telling 16-year-old, at least finish high school, Gio. Like, don't be a dropout, don't be an idiot. Just finish through. And I wouldn't change much of how I am now.
Okay.
But just maybe that. And like, to me, I've actually, now that we're talking about this, yes, what have I learned about myself now that I have my kids? Like, I've learned that putting them through education, like college, you have to go to college. You have, like how my parents, you have to go finish high school, you have to go to college, you have to go to university. Like, to me, I'm not gonna impose that on my kids. It's going to be, if you want to be a doctor, I'll support you to be a doctor. If you want to be an entrepreneur, I'll support you, right? So just, finish your school, like your whatever, high school.
Yeah.
But if you feel like the standard education system is not for you, I'm gonna support my kids. What I don't want my kids is to, I know what I don't want them to be. Nothing in life.
Okay.
Right? But I'm gonna be a supporting parent where, if, like, Dad, you know what, university isn't for me, or the books. Like, I'm gonna support them, right? To me, Hispanic parents, they see that the only way to success is school.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's like their upbringing, because where they're from, right? Like that.
Right. Like, if you don't go to school, it's going to be hard for you to be somebody in life.
Yeah.
But now I've learned that there's more options.
Yeah.
It's not just university, right? Like, it's entrepreneur, or I consider myself an intrapreneur. So,
What is that? Define that.
you got like your and like that's something that I found out the last 2 or 3 years, is that I was so dead on making my own business, entrepreneur, like entrepreneur. But now it's like, how can I scale somebody else's business and then reap from that too?
Yeah.
So entrepreneur.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's like,
There's nothing.
That's
I've learned that a lot of people that have made a really good living and are living the lifestyle, like you said, which I'm not there yet, are actually entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Maybe I'm an entrepreneur and I don't know it, because everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, right? And then someone I really look up to at one point called me a wantrepreneur, and that was like a little reality check for me to step it up a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easy to put that title on there, entrepreneur. Like, everyone can do that.
Yeah.
But
entrepreneur is not easy. It's painful. Anybody could tell you that. Anybody that's an entrepreneur.
It could take a decade or more before you even see something.
It's a super painful process, right?
Yeah.
And not everybody has what it takes to withstand the pressure. So that's something I've learned about myself. Actually, you're making me, like, I really went down and had to, like, think. But Yeah, those three things. Yeah.
What do you, how do you feel when it makes you think like and have to reflect on that? Because I feel you don't really like to talk too much about yourself and boast about your accomplishments. So is that part of it why you kind of felt it was a challenging question? Because
Mm, perhaps
mm.
it's just
But I mean, you can inspire a lot of people by just sharing it, and the ones that take it as arrogant or cocky, that's on them, you know.
it is like it's I don't know. It's just the whole thought. Like it's like I want to say like it is, but at the same time, it's like I'm a real dude. Like
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep it a buck with everybody, right? Like I'm super down to earth, super cool, but when it's time to be truthful, a lot of people don't like it because I can be like just
Mm-hmm.
tell you how it is, right? What I'm thinking. Like I don't have issues with that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when now it's time to talk about myself, I'm like I'm trying to keep it real, like say something that is the real Gio, right? So putting myself into words is what is actually challenging for me. I think you know this. I'm not good with words. I'm always butchering words up and
But it never stopped you, so that's always a plus,
yeah.
right?
So it's like it's just just wording it, I guess.
What goals do you have? Do you mind sharing them?
Yeah. Goals. Well, my goal in life is to be able to give my family. I like that word now. The lifestyle, right? The lifestyle that I never had. The as a kid, growing up, like I want my kids to experience things like my kids and my family to experience things that I never experienced,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, spent time with them. Most importantly, doing things that I never did as a kid. That's my goal. Like family, you know. Money isn't happiness, but it helps. It helps. It helps like do things right. So last year, I had a very good time going to Lake Tahoe with the kiddos and just giving them time and being able to show them like like eat somewhere that's nice and have them like going up on the gondola and then they want to do the zip line. Like I never had that opportunity. Just little things like that, but it takes money, give them the lifestyle, be able to support them, whatever they want to be in life. Like, for example, I don't know, my daughter might want to be a doctor. Like, I want to be able to support that. That's my goal in life. Like, I don't want money to be an obstacle.
At the moment, if you were to leave this earth, and who knows what happens in the afterlife, right? But if in the afterlife you get to float around a bit and reflect on what you did, on accomplishments or your imprint that you left, would you have any regrets, you think? Because we don't really get to choose the day anyways, right? So if it were to happen now, how would you feel? Did you ever think about that?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. Something like, I know it's like, we're all gonna get there, right? But it's just we have kids, we have family. Like, my prayer is that I get to my older age and meet my grandkids, right? And in that sense, like reap what you've sowed in your family, right? I think that's a lot of a lot of men have busted their backs and have worked very hard. Like I think that's something that we might all share in common. Is just like be able to look at your kids grow up and them that build their families and be like, hey, like.
But back to the question: would you have regrets or not?
At this point, probably a few of them. Like not starting sooner. Yeah.
But luckily, if it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah,
it's very likely we got more days left, right? That means you can still change that timeline.
Like just not starting sooner. Like
you'll never get that back, no matter what.
Yeah, like,
even now,
like
even
Yeah, like I wasted maybe 3 to 4 years at the propane company.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thought, I knew like a year into there that wasn't for me, but the bills and I didn't have the boss to quit. It's like, just I should have done it, but what do we say? The timing wasn't probably right? That's just to make us feel better. But deep down inside, I was like, man, I should have had the boss to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a few regrets.
Well, luckily, God willing, we're here way longer. And we can make it happen. Whatever your goal is, whatever you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And make it count. So, is there anything you would like to add? Any advice for the listeners?
No, I think all I would add is I'm super grateful for meeting you. Not to blow smoke up your ass, but the learning, to all the people that saw what we had and what we accomplished and where we went, and if you want to call it the failure or the fallout, whatever, I'm super grateful for everything because it led us to where you're at and where I'm at. And when I think about it, trust me, like I know it's because of that. The Continental Society.
But it was all you though. Like you're the man that made it happen wherever you went. So no one could take credit for that. You know what I mean?
It's not about that, but it's about,
because you could give the wrong person an opportunity and they'll fuck it up. You know what I mean?
I completely understand.
Life, a person, a situation. It's on the person. You made it happen, so that's all you, bro.
Yes, I can't say no to that, but it's just I'm thankful for when it happened, for what happened, for the opportunities that were laid out. Just it was. I just want to say that, right, like out of my chest. Like it was, it was good. Like I enjoyed it. We woke up at 6 a.m. I remember Sundays, like we were waking up at 6 a.m. There's a lot of things that people don't see.
Yeah, the meetings, right?
The meetings, or 6 a.m. meetings, because we were trying to time it where we made time. Like we made time for
not knowing how to categorize it. If it was
like the hours that we spent, the good things. So like not many people know. I think probably nobody knows. It was something that we did, but it was a good run. And we'll see, man. Like we'll see, and what time will say. But I think that's my ending statement. Like I'm super grateful for you and for Kontaineroz and Continental Society, and I still rep it. I didn't just wear it today. Like people can tell you that I wear my Continenteroz gear all the time. Kontineroz.
Yeah.
And
I know you probably get some shit, huh? Like, what happened with I feel like at some point people chose like like you have a band and you have your favorite artist in the band or your favorite Power Ranger. Right. Like people took sides. Maybe. Like so people probably thought like it ended horribly. But
no, it didn't.
You see, like we've been on good terms. Just at times a little distant because we're both busy these days, but. This finally happened, and I'm always here if you need me, and still working on myself. And then I know you inspire a lot of people when you're working on yourself, so just gonna try to figure it out, get better.
I'm excited for the future, and we'll keep on Pumping iron, man. Sin miedo al éxito, papi.
Ooh la la.
All right. So, any closing statements, sir, for the listeners? Where can they reach you?
They can reach me at my IG.
Which is?
I think it's at Gio Marz _TV. Is that
It's
what it
all
is?
one word?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think Gio Marz _TV. Check it out. And yeah, man. If you ever see me out there, just say hi.
Yeah.
You know, in person, I'm always down to chop it up. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names sometimes. Or
Same.
does it happen?
Same.
Does it happen to you where people talk to you and they assume that you know that you who they are?
And even saying that they assume that you know who they are sounds like fucked up, right? But
it's like it's happened to me where a lot of people kind of reach out in person, and I'm pretty sure maybe at some point in life I've kind of talked to them, but I'm super bad with names. Yeah. So face to the name to the face, whatever. But
it sounds weird how I'll say it. To me, they're all like the same person in a way. They're all like the community that backs the brand, you know?
Right.
So like without them, the brand is nothing.
Yeah.
So I am bad with names too, but I try to give the same service and respect, and to all of them. Even I might not remember your name, but I still got love.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And if I leave anyone on scene, it's sad the times that we're in.
Right.
Where if you leave them on scene, there's a strategy behind that. I think for engagement, there's no need for them to know it was seen. If you think about it, why? Because they know how psychology works. They know that you can feel that impulse to
neglected.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe I'm full of shit, right?
Maybe, but if you see me in person, always feel free to say hi. Like. And I mean, I guess let me know who you are. Like, hi, you know, I'm Gio Marz. Like, you know, hey, you're Gio Marz. Like, yeah, I feel bad saying like, who are you? Maybe I should just say, who are you? You know, but,
in person? Who
are you? Like, because they're talking to me about stuff that I know and whatever. But just say hi. Feel free. Let me know who you are, and I'm always down to just chop it up, keep it down to earth, and you know.
One last thing, since this brought it up, in person, do you feel you're a little antisocial at first if you don't know the person? Actually, in general, or
my person, I can talk to anybody, bro. Like I can talk to to my cholo friends. I can talk to like a dude just running down the street. I'm pretty good at talking with people. My weakness is just trying to know who, like, name to the face. Yeah.
Okay. So you never had that issue like that people assume you're cocky or that you don't?
Maybe. I'm pretty sure I can't control what other people think about me, but I don't know, maybe. I
I'm really shy in person. That's the thing. So I'm really
I
don't know how you do with that.
I know we're trying to wrap it up here,
I know.
But if you really wanted to know something about me, I am, like, without my glasses, I can't see very far. I learned that in my last medical. To renew my license, or like if you don't get your glasses, then you can't give you the license. So got my glasses. Another thing is I'm actually half deaf from my right ear. Okay. All I hear is like this high pitched sound, like yeah. So sometimes people will talk to me and they'll assume that I might be like ignoring them. It's just like I can't legitly like hear. Yeah. So just putting it out there. If you ever like talking to me, scream. Yeah.
Gio! All right. Thank you guys for your time. Thanks for the support. Como dicen, like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
All right. Okay, bye. See you on the next one. Peace.